Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Monkey in the Morning. I am your host, the Ranting Monkey, and I hope you're having a wonderful, I don't know what day it is. Is it hump day? Are we on hump day finally? Yeah, it's hump day. Hope you're having a good Wednesday. I'm not in the best of moods, guys. I contemplated not doing the show, and then I actually sat here talking myself into it for the last 15 or so minutes. Because I'm just kind of disgusted with humanity at the moment, with a whole bunch of humanity, people on both sides of the aisle, especially both sides of the know you're racist aisle. Yesterday, many of us saw a video of a man losing his life. The cop put a knee on his neck and held him there for about 7 minutes or so. And you just slowly see the life drain out of this man until you see him actually laying there dead. And there's no doubt the police have come out. Well, he died after the arrest. No, he's dead right there. You can see it. And I'm having trouble getting up the passion to fight on either side of this. I'm just getting angry. Because what we saw there is it's an example of state power being abused. That's what it was to me. It wasn't a white cop kills a black guy or only people care when it's a black guy. None of that shit. I don't give a fuck about any of that stupid shit. Really don't. There's a picture going around on Twitter that supposedly shows this cop wearing a hat that says "Make whites great again." Although it's quite clearly fake as fuck, but that doesn't stop idiots from pointing, oh, this is damning evidence. Yeah, it's damning evidence that you're a racist prick too. I mean, that's what that's damning evidence of. You don't care about the dead guy. You really don't. You just want to play a racial card, you fuck nuts. And it's hard. It's hard for me to be in a good place. And this is a morning show. Nobody wants down in the morning. You don't want a downer on your radio show first thing in the morning, right? Somebody asked what he did. It was reportedly what shit, I forget, fraud or something like that. What was it? Somebody help me out here. I know it's up there. Nothing worth dying for, that's for sure. I've had there's a lot of people who said we need to wait and find out all the facts. Like, all right, you guys help me. For those of you who say that, because I'm sure there's a few listening. For those of you who say we need to wait and find the facts, what fact would make it okay for a man who's on the ground, on his chest, with his hands handcuffed behind him, for you to put your knee on his neck for 7 minutes? Anybody? Attempted forgery. Thank you. That's what it was. Forgery was the thing. But 7 minutes. What could you possibly find out that happened that would make that part okay? People have said that, and this is what I'm talking about when I get disgusted with people. Because we have this notion, because there have been nonsense stories before where like, well, the cop killed the guy, and it turns out, no, the cop was justified because, somebody raised a gun at a cop and put him down. Has to be done sometimes. This guy's lying on his chest with his hands behind his back in cuffs. This, how do you get to but we need to wait, monkey. We need to wait and see all the facts. No, I don't. Really don't. Those cops should go to jail. And they are, in my eyes, guilty as fuck. And I know people, well, innocent until proven guilty. There's a videotape that proves them guilty as fuck. Now, they may end up being found not guilty in a court of law. That doesn't make them innocent. We saw what happened. We saw what fucking happened. I'm disgusted at people trying to make it into. I saw people with Colin Kaepernick pictures with him taking a knee. He took this knee because of that knee. No, he didn't. No, he didn't. Stop it. Colin Kaepernick took a knee so he could get out of his contract with the 49ers because he was upset that he was playing second string He didn't tack on the Black Lives Matter bullshit until later. If you are offended at what happened to George Floyd yesterday, you should be fucking horrified at what Colin Kaepernick did. That little shitbag used you guys for money. And he did it strictly for money. Oh, but it's okay. It's okay. Oh. I don't want to watch a man die. Oh, you're talking about not seeing the video. I don't blame you. I don't blame you. That's the video. He's on his he's on his chest. He's laying on his full belly. He's not just on his chest. Hands behind his back, and the cop's got his. There's a really interesting part at the beginning of this. This actually pissed me off. It really pissed me off because I woke up yesterday around 4-ish and I watched the video immediately. And it was a video that CBS had produced. It's like about 2 minutes worth. And all it is the full video cut down to the parts that they think is most important. But they cut off a really interesting part at the very beginning of the 10-minute video. The 10-minute video starts with George in this position, that cop on his neck like that, and the cop screaming, "Get into the car!" and George yelling, "I can't." The cop yells again, "Get into the damn car!" And like, "I will, I just can't with you on me. There's a grown-ass man sitting on my fucking neck. How the fuck am I going to get in the car?" And they cut the part off with him yelling, "Get in the car," while they're sitting on his neck. I'm like, I feel like that's a very important part here. I also wonder about the cop's state of mind. Because at some point during this, that cop had to realize this guy ain't moving anymore, like at all. And when the crowd starts chanting, his nose is bleeding, check his pulse. You know, there had to be part of him like, I should probably check his fucking pulse. And I wonder if there's any part of this shitbag of a human who didn't do so out of spite because of the crowd being there. At one point, he pulls out his mace and threatens to mace the crowd. It's an interesting part of the video that the CBS part cut out. But yeah, I should really just stay away from Twitter for the next day or two, because there's a whole bunch of stupid people on both sides. Both sides are just going to piss me the fuck off, because this isn't about race for me. I know I'm supposed to see a black man being killed by a white man. I know I'm supposed to see a white cop killing a black man. AOC told me that. Before she told me, "We're losing too many of us." You're not a black man, sweetheart. I know that's what I'm supposed to see, but that's not what I see. If you get rid of the power of these people to do that to anyone, then you fix everything. What's that guy's name? I forget his first name. His last name was Thomas. Kevin Thomas, I think, perhaps. I may be misremembering, but oh shit. Why is my Sorry about that, guys. Had some mic issues there for some fucking reason. How long was I sounding really, really deep? But yeah, this isn't about this for me. I don't give two shits about the race part of this. It's about the police brutality part of it. I think back, there was a time, and I've told this story before. My son was pulled over, him and his friends. And the reason the cop pulled him over is because my son, this cop cuts him off, and they didn't realize it was a cop. And it was dark. Welcome to Michigan at night. And my son gave him the finger. Well, my son realized as the cop pulled up next to him that it was a cop, and he goes, "Oh shit!" The cop flips on his light and pulls him over for giving him the finger. Doesn't give him any tickets or anything. Just warns him and tells my son, "I'm going to call your dad." And I get a call from my son. My son panicking, like, "Dad, I'll pay any ticket that I get. I'll pay for anything." I'm like, "Well, calm down. What's up?" And he tells me the story, and I just started laughing. Like, dude, you're fine. Now, my son at the time, I want to say he was 18, maybe 19. He still lived at home at the time, but yeah, he was very upset about what Dad was going to think. And Dad's like, "Dad's a free speech warrior, my friend. Tell that cop and go fuck himself." This cop calls me up to tell me I need to tell my son not to do that. I'm like, well, why? It was what? I'm like, what am I supposed to tell my son? So he didn't break the law in any manner. And through the course of this conversation, by the way, the cop ended up hanging up on me. Through the course of this conversation, the cop changed his story while we were talking, from agreeing with me that there was no problem, that nothing illegal about my son giving him the finger, to telling me he could have arrested my son for disturbing the peace. And that bothers me. That bothers me. My son is as lily white as I am. He really, I mean, it's not like anybody's going to mistake him for a black guy, even at night. We glow in the dark, man. But that's what happens with cops, man. They get their little feelings hurt. Not all, hashtag not all. But some of them get their little feelings hurt. And I wonder if that's part of what was going on with this guy, why he didn't check on this man when any intelligent being would have been like, yeah, I've been on this guy's neck for 6 minutes. I should probably check on him. Crowd's telling me he's bleeding out of his fucking nose and he hasn't moved in a while. I should probably check, considering I'm crushing his fucking throat into the cement. I just wonder if that was part of it. Was it just his policey pride? I'm normally very, very pro police. Police do a very dangerous job, but there are a lot of bad actors out there, and pretending there's not is stupid. And pretending it's just about race is stupid. The problem is bad cops. That's it. And we need to get rid of them. We need body cameras on all of these motherfuckers at all times. Sorry, body cameras all times. There's no reason we can't be doing that right now for the majority of our, especially in your bigger cities and stuff. Have your politicians take a pay cut so you can pay for it. It's called disrespect of cop. Some cops believe it's a felony. Yeah, it's not even a crime, Shroom. It's not even a crime. And I get you. I mean, I told my son at the time, like, don't do that. One, don't just, you're going to cause some problems. You're lucky it was a cop and not some redneck who was, had a gun that he was willing or ready to use. Two, you're lucky you ran into a cop who called your dad instead of beating your ass on the side of a road, because that does happen. And three, don't piss off cops in small towns because they're bored and have long memories. And I know people who they target. Like you again. No cop should be able to say you again. You know what I mean? Oh, yeah, you got some repeat offenders, but yeah, I know guys who've gotten stopped for going a mile over the speed limit. Maybe black folks should wear body cams. If I was black, I would. That's what happened in New York, right? In Central Park. It wasn't necessarily a body cam, but as soon as that dog walker, that woman with her dog started turning really, shitty, dude pulls out his phone like, "Whip, we need some footage of this in case some shit goes sideways." Oh. Tired of good cops covering for bad ones. There were 4 cops on scene. Four cops were fired over this. Not one of them was like, maybe we should check on him. You had that fat Asian one who actually was getting pissy with the crowd and put his hands on somebody and then yelled at the guy to stop touching me. And then the chick's like, "You touched him." Yeah. And I get it, man. It's a high pressure situation. You're killing a guy on the street and there's a crowd who's gathered. I mean, that's got to be tense, right? It's got to be tense, especially when you're a fat little pudgy fuck that your shirt barely fits. Did you see that fat little fucker? You look like a pork sausage in that thing. All 4 should go to jail. I agree. And here's the thing, though. They probably won't. There's a chance. I mean, maybe. But going back to that case, I think it's Kevin Thomas was his name. So the case, I want to say 2011. It's a white guy. Not only did they kill the guy in the same fashion by except for with him, they actually they drove the knee into his back, crushing his chest. They also kicked the ever-loving shit out of him. Fractured his skull, broke his jaw, broke several of his ribs. He looked horrible. There's pictures of it. There's video of the actual incident too. But there's pictures of him in the hospital afterwards. His parents eventually took him off life support. I think 5 days after he was in the hospital. All of this is there. I mean, they have it on video. 3 cops were arrested for it. The first 2 were found not guilty, so the DA decided not even to try the third one. That's for a white guy, yo. Shit. You have juries oftentimes very afraid to hold cops accountable for stuff. I don't see any way that you can look at this and go, no, what these guys did was okay. I don't see it. Anyhow, cops don't care what color you are. They do it to everybody. I will say this, Eagle, to your statement there. I think of course, there's racist cops. Of course there are. There's racist people. The chance of you having the entire police force of the entire country on county, city, local, state, federal levels, not to have one racist cop is pretty fucking slim. However, I think the vast majority of what we see is just, cops abusing power. Cops abusing power. It's a problem. I mean, fuck. The jury may have voted not guilty so they could handle things themselves afterwards. In that case, no. I mean, those 3 cops, they all lost their jobs, but otherwise life went on for them. I'd be afraid to be retaliated against by other cops for sending them to jail. I hear you, and that's sad. And not for you, because I understand where you're coming from. That's part of the problem. That's part of the problem. When you are too afraid to tell the truth, you're basically that's just corruption. It's straight up corruption at that point. That's how you end up with Mexico eventually. And it sucks. So nothing ever gets done. It's a cynical problem. Yeah. But in this case, I mean, you don't look, in this case, you didn't even need somebody to go to the chief. I mean, this broke really fast. The original statement the police put out was kind of bullshit, but the video comes out and everybody's like, oh, fuck. Even the mayor's like, yeah, we got to do something. So you don't even need somebody, but somebody on that scene, one of the other 2 guys that we don't see, because we only really see the guy who's squishing the man's neck and then the fat Asian guy. The other 2 you never see. Not one of them's like, hey, we should probably check on him. That's not telling on anybody. That's just like, dude, you've been on him for a while. Maybe you should check. Like, he's getting cold enough to make ice on his toes back here. Maybe you should check. I might be racist. I thought Ranting Monkey was black. Been listening since late 2017. No, I'm as white as they come, man. Many people who've only heard my voice have told me they think I'm black. I don't hear it. For people that I can tell are black, and I know you're not supposed to do that. You're not supposed to be able to go, yes, I can tell he's black by his voice. Usually it's deeper than mine. It's got a little more bass in it than mine does. You're judging person? Knee dude should be in prison for at minimum manslaughter. The others terminated for lack of situational awareness. Well, I mean, in most states we have, if you're there during the commission of a crime and you didn't do anything to stop it, you were part of the crew, as it were, then you're just as guilty as the person who did it. So sorry, those guys, that Asian guy never even turned around. Did you guys see that? He never even peeked. Never even peeked back. Like, yeah, that dude's dead as shit, man. It's not until the paramedics get there. And then did you see the way they flop his dead ass over onto that gurney? Oh my God. They literally were treating him like a piece of meat at that time. Okay, I'm done. So tackle the cop. I don't know. Just one of the other cops, just check his pulse. Like, we should check on this. And according to the police department, that's not a method of restraining somebody they're allowed to use in the first place. So I don't know if that's true or not. You got him on his belly with his hands cuffed behind his back. Go ahead and grab some zip ties, do his feet up, and he's not going anywhere. Call in the paddy wagon, call in your friends to throw him into the back of a car, whatever it takes. You didn't have to do that. Anyway, I could barely watch it. Don't have to be a medical genius to know that you probably shouldn't kneel on someone's neck. Yeah. And you don't have to be a medical genius. I just love that. He died sometime later. Did he? I'm fairly certain in that 10-minute video we saw when he died. I have no doubt in my mind that we did. And so there goes my monetization, guys. You monetize this when you're talking about a dead man? Yeah, the news does. Why wouldn't I? I'm interested to see if the news gets demonetized the way I know I'm going to, because this is a loss of life kind of thing we're not supposed to talk about, because only the news can discuss this with any kind of meaningful commentary, right, Neil Mohan, you fucking prick. I did see JonTron reached out to YouTube over some shit. JonTron got he got copyright claimed, not actually a strike, just somebody claimed, and they were taking his money off of a video. And he says it's for, he had bought the music that he used. He bought a license to use it in the video, but there's no real way for him to have challenged it. So instead, what he did was he used the feature that YouTube has where you can cut music out of your video. And so he cuts it out, and it still doesn't let him get his monetization back. And so he reaches out to YouTube and like, we don't understand why that's happening. Oh, come on. You guys are going overboard protecting your own asses and doing so to the detriment of your creators, you shitbags. Someone did check his pulse. Yes. 8 minutes after the video started. And they'd been on his fucking neck the whole time. No one checked his pulse until he'd been in that position, until the paramedic did it. Anyhow. Only the news, the average 3-minute stories can offer proper context. Dangerous. Maybe that's it. Maybe I talked too long about the stories, and Neil thinks if you talk too much, you might accidentally say the wrong things, and that's going to break context. I don't fucking know. Do I have to watch the entire video for what, Eric? What do you mean? You don't have to. I don't recommend watching the video. It's a hard thing to watch somebody die. I do not recommend it to anybody. And you know what? There's videos where I know somebody's going to die where I haven't watched them before, but this one is like, yeah, I got to watch this one. It's one I knew that was going to be coming up a lot. And you see where Sinatra lost monetization on his second channel? I did not. What did he lose it for this time? I think somebody at YouTube has a boner for him. I don't know who, but they come after him pretty fucking hard. Just like what happened with him when he it was one of the debates that he got hit where he lost monetization for 3 months. On Sinatra Says, and that was a weird one because I haven't heard of anybody else who got hit and the strike lasted that long. Everyone on YouTube has a boner for Snoop, perhaps. Beheading videos, I don't understand how everybody can watch those. I don't like watching any of that stuff. I watched Faces of Death way back when, and that's where I realized, I don't like watching people die. I actually had nightmares about it, and it wasn't then that I had. You know what actually caused me the nightmares It wasn't until I watched the show Oz. In the first season of Oz, there's a man put to death for something he didn't do. He's still a bad man, and he probably deserved to die. But in this case, he was being put to death for something he didn't do. And when the time comes for it, there was something about that moment that just clicked something in my head. And all the horrible shit that I'd ever seen in my life, I didn't watch the Faces of Death ones again because I don't need to see that. But it was in there. It's like, oh my God, you're watching the light. And this is an HBO show that's fake, but it brought back these memories of real people. Like, that's the end for him. I'm like, you know what? I don't ever need to see that shit again. So I avoid the vast majority of this stuff. Vast majority. But occasionally, a story pops up and I'm like, yeah, I got to. But anyway, so let's move on. Let's talk about something else because, I mean, we had to talk about that. It's the big news of the day. Oh, and there's another person with the fucking Colin Kaepernick. Do not attach Colin Kaepernick to this. That is a disgrace to that man. That is a disgrace to the memory of George. You fucking shitbags. Twitter is now interfering in the 2020 presidential election. They're saying my statement on mail-in ballots, which will lead to massive corruption and fraud, is incorrect based on fact-checking by fake news CNN and the Amazon Washington Post. Twitter's completely stifling free speech, and I, as president, will not allow it to happen. This was Donald Trump yesterday. They, in what can only be described as a what the fuck moment for Twitter, they went to one of Donald Trump's tweets where he said that he believes that mail-in voting is going to lead to massive fraud. And they did a fact check of it. There's a little, underneath the tweet, there's a little blue bar where you can get the facts about mail-in voting. And they link to a article by Chris Cillizza from CNN. I'm not making that up. Chris Cillizza. I don't know if that man would know a fact if it bit him on his fat ass. But that is the level of fact checking done at Twitter. Not just CNN, but Chris Cillizza from CNN. And Donald Trump is not going to take it, you guys. I don't know what he's going to do. I don't know if he's going to be like, fuck it, I'm going to use. What's an alternative to them now? Are there any left that people like, go over here instead? All of them that I've heard of go away rather quickly. Everybody's like, we're going to all go to this place now. And then 2 months later, Gab. Is Gab still around? I haven't heard about them in a while. Okay, so yeah, maybe the president will go use Gab instead. I wouldn't because their interface is shit and then their website looks like crap. But I mean, hey, when you're being stifled as the president, this wasn't an assault on free speech, Mr. President. They didn't stifle free speech. They linked a really retarded article underneath your tweet. You were still allowed to say what you wanted to say. It's still out there. I do think it is an excellent example of what I've been talking about since the Russia thing even started. Because do you guys remember before we ever heard about Donald Trump was working with the Russians, we heard that the Russians were able to manipulate the election using Facebook. And it amazed. I was so shocked by the amount of attention this was given. The Congress had hearings and they drugged the heads of all of the social media companies up. And how are you going to stop this from happening? I'm like, all it really said to me was that you were telling social media groups how much power they have. And it's not that they had a problem with that power being used. It was who they thought was using it. See what I'm saying? They didn't have a problem with social media. Like they didn't have a problem with Facebook changing the way people think for voting. That wasn't the problem at all. It was okay if somebody spread lies about Donald Trump on Facebook and that made people vote for Hillary. There were no complaints about that at all. None. That's not what it was. No. It was they made people vote for Trump. And when I saw, I was like, this is dirty. This is leading somewhere dirty. And then, of course, we saw the Google, that fucking Google meeting that got leaked after the election. I can't believe this happened. If you don't think social media heads are going to do everything they can to keep Trump from getting reelected, boy, do I have some fucking bridges. They're just piling up. I don't have them in a warehouse. I have a stockpile of bridges to sell you. And I know, like, wait, you're not supposed to get conspiratorial. Susan will get mad. Susan's always mad because she wants monkey dick. But there's no other reason for the amount of stress they caused over this. Because remember, it was the Russians, and specifically that the Russians were trying to get Donald Trump elected. The fact that there was evidence also of the Russians trying to help the Hillary campaign. This is true. You guys can look this shit up. The Russians, as far as anybody could actually tell, were trying to sow chaos. That's it. That's what they were going for. They weren't going for the Donald Trump vote. They were just trying to cause chaos in our system. That's as much as anybody was ever able to prove. But when it went up before Congress, that's not. They wanted Trump to win. God damn it! There were nobody whining about what was done in Hillary's behalf, or on subjects that were beneficial to Hillary, because those things were done by the Russians as well. And Congress was signaling to these people, to the heads of Facebook and Twitter and Google, and who was the other one they had up there? It was Facebook, Twitter, Google. I can't remember who the other one was, but they had these people up there, and they're like, "You guys are the most powerful voices out there. How are you going to make sure Donald Trump's not reelected? I'm sorry. How are you going to make sure that that your platform's not misused?" And as this has gone on, it's been even worse. It's not just the Russians anymore. It's how do you stop any misinformation? Dun dun dun. Because we've never, ever had a situation with our electorate being fucking retarded as they go into the goddamn election booth until social media. There weren't people who spread lies and misinformation. No. That's an internet thing. Oh my God, a random hashtag started trending at 1 a.m. in the morning. It's Russia. Yeah, Anthony, that's the Krasensteins, man. If anything goes, any hashtag that's anti-Democrat in any way goes viral at 1 o'clock in the morning, the Krasensteins are there to tell us it was the Russians. Oh, Jiminy fuck, why is Kathy Griffin trending? Oh. So Kathy Griffin advocates for someone to stab Trump with a syringe with nothing but air inside. Yeah, that makes sense. All right. All right. So she got another 15 minutes of fame. She managed to make herself relevant again by talking about killing the president. All right. Notice she said somebody should do it. Not her. Not her, because she ain't got the balls for that. She's just out there saying what other people should say. And this was tweeted by her, apparently. I wonder if do you think Twitter fact checked it? I'm wondering. Let's see. Jim Acosta said, Trump, he tweeted this, Trump at diabetes event at White House. I don't use insulin. Should I be? And Kathy said, syringe with nothing but air inside would do the trick. Okay, that's not her saying somebody should do that. She's saying he should do it. I mean, okay, calm down, people. It's a stupid joke. Christ, that's not even as bad as they made it sound. She didn't say somebody should do it. Come on. See, this is the kind of shit I'm talking about. People overreact. That's why you got to look, you guys. If you see something that looks just a little bit too much like it supports your side, go look. Go look, because, you know. Anyway, where are we at here? Twitter has employed editorial oversight on Trump, which is the actions of a publisher, not a platform, and this may affect the protections that provides. No, not true. Not true. They didn't stop him from doing anything. They just added a provision there to give people other, I hate using this word with CNN, but facts. He was still able to put out what he wanted to put out. I know a lot of you want to grab onto that publisher platform thing, but you guys keep misusing it. You really do. Until they're doing it where they have entire editorial control, they'll be fine. That's just fact. That where you come into the publisher part of it is like when you go to respond on or write into your newspaper, if they publish your letter, they made an editorial choice to publish your letter. They get thousands of them. They picked out yours. That's publishing. Now, if they let all of them up there, for Trump and only Trump, that's not true, Massive. There are other people that this has been done to, other posts that this stuff is started on. Is this the first one Twitter's ever done it with? Oh, and hi, Alex. How you doing, man? Yeah, I saw you were talking about poop, and I just let that kind of go. Where are we at here in the world around us? The Central Park Karen, she's upset because her life is in ruins. It's in shambles now. Anybody shocked? How about don't be a cunt? You know, and again, I don't think I'm not a supporter of her having been doxxed. If you had her information, you should have gone to her or gone to the police, not put that shit out on Twitter so everybody can find out who she is and where she works and blah, blah, blah. But this is a lesson about not being a dickhead. Or in her case, a massive cunt. You never know what the consequences are going to be. You don't. Something that seems like a minor thing could blow up in your face if you're going to, like, there was no reason for her to throw that fit that she threw. She could have walked away. She could have put the damn dog on a leash and taken it to where it was supposed to be, where, to take it off the leash. The consequence may be minor, or it could be like what happens to her. She lost her job, you guys. Yeah. The firm that she worked for originally put her on administrative leave. And then within hours, they came back and went, after reviewing this, we're firing her because racism has no place here. Which isn't fair, because was she ever racist to anybody there that you can show? Because, I mean, if not, then you're getting into thought policing, and that's kind of weird. I mean, she's obviously a racist little shit. I just loved how she was being racist, but still politically correct about it. I'm going to tell them an African-American is threatening me. She didn't even say black. She's so white, she can't even bring herself to say black. An African-American. Oh, my God. Are there even blacks who use that terminology still? I'm going to tell them an African American. Oh, for fuck's sake. I'm surprised she didn't go, or whatever you identify as, because, you know, I don't want to misrace you. But yeah, I think it's an excellent example of how something that, I mean, at the time, up until she says that line that I'm going to call the police and tell them that, it was no big deal, you know? It was an argument over a dog being on a leash. And if it had stayed there, she wouldn't have lost her job. She wouldn't be possibly getting a ticket for, you know, calling 911 without proper reason to. But now, because she just had to escalate it, sometimes it's better to just walk away. And Karens, I need y'all to listen to me, because you guys are the worst at this shit right now. Fuck. Just shut the fuck up. We need a shut the fuck up Karen movement. Like, anytime you see one of these Karens, everybody should just start chanting, shut the fuck up. Because these fucking bitches, man, they won't just shut the hell up and let things go. And it's usually over the dumbest shit. This guy was in the right. Woman, put your dog on a fucking leash. I don't care how friendly your dog is. I don't care how well behaved your dog is. If it's out in public, put it on a fucking leash. If it's in an area where it doesn't have to be leashed, fine. I stay out of those areas. I'm not the biggest dog fan. But keep it on a fucking leash. You tell them to shut the fuck up, they get louder. See, Eric, the problem is not enough people do it. It's like one person will do it. You need everybody within earshot to start chanting it. Shut the fuck up, Karen. Forget what's the difference between a Becky and a Karen. A Karen is, I want to speak to your manager, please. And a Becky is just a basic bitch white girl. A Becky has Uggs, and by this time of year, she's already starting to twitch a little because she hasn't had pumpkin spice in her latte for a while. So, yeah. Okay, where are we at here? I did see... I forget how you're supposed to say her name. Bridget, whatever. Says, Karen is just an acceptable way to call a woman a bitch. Don't at me. This is... People, the internet sucks sometimes, you guys. It really does. Because there's words that have meaning. Two that immediately come to mind are cuck and Karen. The internet hears the word and people don't know how to use it. So it starts getting misused all over the place to where any bitchy woman is a Karen. No. Karens are a specific kind of bitch. They are bitches, but they're a specific kind of bitch. They're a Pacific kind of bitch. You can't just go out there and call every bitch a Karen, because they're not all Karens. Some of them are just bitches. Call a woman a bitch is an acceptable way to call her a bitch. I'm not afraid to call somebody a bitch. Simp, I mean, simp has been kind of... yeah, I mean, maybe. Cuck is the big one they fucked up, though. Cuck is the one that the internet has just absolutely destroyed. Any possible meaning of it. It just means you're a pussy. It's just become a way to insult men. My governor was asked about her husband going off to their second home today. This is interesting. Alex, you still in chat? Because over there in the UK, guys, there's a guy named Dominic Cummings who's gotten into a lot of trouble. He works for Boris Johnson, the prime minister. And during their lockdown, he drove something like 245 miles or whatever it is to his mother's house when his wife was sick. His wife had corona, and he drove there, took the family there because he needed help with the kids, because he was worried he was going to get sick, which he did. And then he went out, and I don't understand the explanation, but apparently he said he went out while he was there to check his eyes or something. I don't know. But the British media has lost their fucking shit over this. They're treating this like Watergate, y'all. It's Cummingsgate. And watching it from afar, I'm like, I don't understand why y'all are losing your shit. But over here in Michigan, our governor, who is kind of a cunt and has decided she's going to keep our state shut down through the middle of June now because she's a power-hungry Nazi. Her husband got caught driving to their second residence. And when asked about this, she was asked about this yesterday. She answered that her husband did go to their second residence to rake leaves. That's why he went there. He went there to rake leaves. And she goes, but it was after I had lifted the order saying you can't go to second residences, which made me immediately go, wait a minute, back up. The big story here shouldn't be that he went to their second residence when, she's keeping the state locked down. The story should be that she lifted this order so her husband could go rake fucking leaves, which is really weird because raking leaves in the spring is kind of a weird thing to do. I mean, most people, and I assure you, these uppity fucks take care of their leaf problem in the fall. All the leaves fall down in the fall, and you get rid of them. But he went up there to rake leaves last week or so. Did she answer why he wanted their boat put on the water when no one else was allowed to? No, in the clip that I saw, she didn't address that. It was only about whether he went there or not. I think it's odd that the governor changed the rules just so her husband could go rake leaves at their second house. I find that to be disgusting. I rake leaves in the spring, left over from the fall. P. Knight, are you a rich Democrat in Michigan who probably is using illegals to do that? We get a lot of illegals up here, guys. They use them in Traverse City to pick cherries during cherry season. I guarantee you they made sure her yard was nice and pristine before everything closed down for the winter. I doubt they rake their own leaves even in autumn. Exactly, Evolved. Exactly. She used the power of the government to change the rules just so her husband could drive upstate and rake leaves. If you believe her. I don't. I don't believe her for 1 second. I think she's an entitled shithead who rules for you, not for me, because I'm the governor of Michigan, damn it. You can see that by the way she doesn't wear her face covering when she tells everybody else to. And oddly, it doesn't look like her hair is getting long and stringy and got split ends and shit. It looks like she's been able to keep her hair nice and trimmed. I'm sure her husband's doing it at home for her. I'm laughing more about their boat / dock. I don't care about their boat. I don't care about him going up and raking leaves either. I just think it's funny watching her do the dance. Because she mentioned several times in her little press conference, look, this was after I changed the rules. After I changed the rules, he went and did this. Was there any time? I don't know the exact day that he did it, and I don't remember the exact day that she, changed the rules. But I wonder how close they were together. I wonder how close. Fuck them all. Glory holes, essential. Yeah, she also she listed a male BDSM club, a gay male BDSM club, as an essential service. One of the services they are known to offer is glory holes. For those of you who don't know what a glory hole is, that's where there's a hole in a wall and somebody sticks their dick through it and somebody on the other side takes care of it sexually. And yeah, that's an essential service, you guys. But barbers are still not allowed to be open because apparently getting your dick sucked through a wall is nice and safe. No way you're going to get any kind of diseases that way. What was that pandemic we had with it mostly affected gay men? There was a pandemic at sex. It really spread through sex clubs and stuff. I wish I could remember the name of that. I'm sure it'll come to me. I mean, risky behavior is okay as long as it's only some kind of risky behavior. And that way you don't have to upset the gay folks. A socially distanced glory hole. How does that work? Well, it's, I don't know. I've never seen a 6-inch dick, or sorry, 6-foot dick. Isn't it 6 feet? You have to stay away from each other. I've never seen a 6-foot dick that you could stick through a wall and still have somebody on the other side touching it without being closer than 6 feet. I don't know. You'd have to ask my illustrious governor how that works, because she seems to understand it. She's like, oh, we did that back in college. Okay, I don't mean to suggest that my governor was a whore in college. I don't know if she was a whore back then. I don't know if she's a whore now. I know she's a stupid bitch. Anyhow, let's see. Oh, this was going around yesterday. Our president keeps making inferences that Joe Scarborough may have murdered a woman. Here's what happens, right? Joe Scarborough was a House member, and his assistant, or a woman that worked in his office. I don't know if it was his personal assistant. It was a woman that worked in his office. Was found dead, and the coroner decided that she had a heart problem. She passed out, hit her head on the desk, and died. And there are a lot of people who think Joe might have been involved in her untimely passing. I don't know if he was. I don't. The circumstances of her death are a little bit weird. Joe Scarborough leaving office soon after, kind of weird. Maybe it was just too much for him to come in every day. And but anyway, so the left, because Trump has been saying they did this, just Donald Trump killed his personal assistant Carolyn Gomble in October 2000. He strangled her because he'd gotten her pregnant and was threatening to tell the press. Then he bribed New York Police Department Police Chief Bernie Kerik to cover it up. It's time to investigate. # Justice for Carolyn. That's their joke. There's actually a dead body in the Scarborough case. And I mean, the idea of a coroner covering up for a congressman, is that really that hard to believe? But now, like, oh, and there's a lot, you won't find anything on the internet about this woman. She's been erased. You guys are funny. That's what the left can't meme. They're not funny. I think this anytime I see a Onion headline now, because the Onion hasn't been funny in a few years and they're getting worse. And then you look at the Babylon Bee and it just rolls off so easily for them because they're not afraid to go after the sacred cows. It's hard to make fun of Donald Trump because he's Donald Trump, you know, other than going, I mean, look at the guy. He's a walking meme. But then they try to be funny and it just like, But this person, the tweet of God, they got a big boost out of this because some lefties think that's humor. That's so sad. It's so sad that's what passes for humor now. Maybe it's a lot funnier if there's a audience that's told when to applaud. But just on its own, it's not funny. Cameron, thank you. You think Trump is doing this because Mad Cow won her defamation case? He doesn't normally go this far with his shenanigans. I don't know. I didn't even keep up much with that. I forget what all happened with that, but no, I doubt it's because of that. It's probably because Scarborough and them have been shitheads to Trump for a while now, like actual shitheads to him. Joe Scarborough is, I don't know. Mika must be able to suck a golf ball through a garden hose because he's gone further and further left the longer he hangs out with her, and since they've gotten married and such. And yeah, Trump's tired of them, giving him shit. Oh dear Christ. Hang on a second. I have to annoy somebody on. What's up your ass now, moron? There we go. Anyway, Scarborough lied about the same Bill Barr quote that Chuck Todd commented on. I wouldn't be shocked. That sounds like something that Scarborough did. I know I heard 3 or 4 different people did it, but only Chuck Todd really got a big reaction for it. This is the one, guys, where Chuck Todd came out and said that Bill Barr was being very dismissive because he was asked, how will history look at you and your decision to drop the Michael Flynn case? And he says, well, the history is written by the winners, so probably favorably, but he goes, I hope it'll be, people will look at it and say that this was, this was for the good of justice. And Chuck Todd is like, he didn't even say anything about justice, because they stopped it right after the first part. And apparently a lot of other people did it too. I didn't see anybody else do it. I just saw Chuck Todd do it. So Dragon Mage, thank you so very much. Hang on, over here on the Streamlabs. Dominic Cummings is the architect of Brexit and does not kowtow to the media, which is why the media hates him. Makes sense. Like I said, I've been watching this Dominic Cummings thing, and I don't understand what the big deal is. Even if the absolute worst of what they say about him is true, okay, that deserves a little light admonishment. Like, dude, come on. We're supposed to be staying inside. You didn't. Bad, Dominic. But I mean, they're treating it like he was, anally raping the Queen in front of everyone. I don't get it. And I commented on that on Twitter the other day. Like, I don't understand, because it seems like this is such a big deal to you guys. This is like the major scandal going on in Britain right now. I mean, Piers Morgan, I follow Piers Morgan on Twitter. Every day he's like, we're going to go get him. He was proud to be part of the scum media. That's what Piers Morgan tweeted out. Proud to be part of the hashtag scum media. It said that at the end of that in the end, hopefully he'll be judged as being on the right side of history. I'm like, bitch, why don't you try to be on the right side of truth? You're a journalist. Why don't you try that for a change? I feel like that's something all journalists should be striving for. And it is interesting to watch and see the Brits have fucking media worse than ours, or as bad as ours. Because holy shit, are you kidding me? The guy went to his mom's house to help take care of his kid while his wife was sick. What a horrible bastard. Yeah. The UK has trained its citizens to be subservient. Perhaps. There is this thing, because one of the things that they're playing on really big in this story is that the people come together for the good of Britain. And I mean, there's something to be said for that. The British doing that. I mean, they went through hell during World War II, and it was just, British tenacity, But this fucking thing is just retarded, man. It's really, I don't know. I don't understand it. I keep waiting, for something, like he was banging. Oh, this is the greatest thing. But anyway, I was hoping that, like he was banging his mistress while he was there. There was a great article written about this. If you want to know what's going on here, this is how I realized this guy's probably being railroaded. There was an article written where they're talking about this thing. And I was trying to find, like what's going on. And in it, they bring up that the scientist who did the modeling that shows, 2 million people were going to die, blah, blah, blah. He had to step down from his post over similar allegations. Except for in the Cummings case, all that's been alleged is he drove somewhere and that he might have went outside. In the other one, the guy was breaking quarantine to fuck his married girlfriend. Those are entirely different things. But the article doesn't tell you that. I only know that because we follow the news and I remember that story from just a couple weeks ago. In the article, all it says is that this guy was fired or stepped down, because he wasn't fired. He stepped down over similar things. I'm like, in your world, driving to your mom's house is the same as banging your married mistress. I feel like you probably shouldn't be allowed to be alone with your mom if that's true. Think about it. You'll understand what I'm saying there. Paper, this the president you want to be. What? All right, New York Post, the hidden risk in Donald Trump's tweets. Again, Thursday, the president of the United States decided to suggest that a TV morning show host committed murder. That is a depressing sentence to type. But backlash across the spectrum about Donald Trump's tweeting baseless conspiracy theories against Joe Scarborough did nothing to dissuade him. You know what's funny? Thinking of this case and everything, right? Donald Trump got fact-checked on Twitter over his opinion that mail-in ballots will be used fraudulently. Him accusing Joe Scarborough of basically murdering this bitch, that did not get fact-checked. Isn't that kind of weird? Of those two, which do you think is the more important one? If you guys know for a fact that that Scarborough did not kill this woman, which whoa, shit. Sorry, hang on. Ads are popping up on my screen. Where's this at? Stop it. There we go. I don't like audio that starts without me playing it. Anyway, the Scarborough thing goes back to the coroner's report. She had a heart problem, passed out. But Donald Trump had tweeted out, when will they open a cold case file on Psycho Joe Scarborough matter in Florida? Did he get away with murder? Some people think so. Why did he leave Congress so quietly and quickly? Isn't it obvious? What's happening now? A total nut job. So I don't know if Joe Scarborough killed a woman. I don't. I hope not, because I don't like murderers. The president probably shouldn't be spending his time accusing a press personality he doesn't like of murder. I mean, bringing it up and being like, it's kind of weird that Joe left his office like that and just kind of leaving it hanging. All right. Juvenile, but still. But I don't know. I can't stop laughing at this one. Is it wrong? You also have to remember this is the talk show, The Morning Joe, where Mika told us that it's their job to tell us what to think. And now you have the press telling us what to think about the president saying this. It's a weird circular thing. It really is. Huh. The brashness comes in handy when you make a call like finally moving the U.S. Embassy to Jerusalem. Being told you can't do that means little to Trump, so he says some outrageous things on Twitter. Who cares? But is that really the president you want to be, sir? The president for whom people disregard half or even most of what you say as irrelevant. Tuesday was a good day. The economy showed signs of life. Lockdowns were ending. You gave the press something else to talk about, and trust us, you did not look like the bigger man. this is the New York Post, which usually isn't this anti-Trumpish, but I mean, it's fine. They're allowed to have their own opinions. This was written by the Post editorial board themselves, so it has their actual name on it. But the press misses Donald Trump's appeal over and over and over and over again. See, for the press, for the New York Post, and I'm sure for a lot of outlets, this makes Donald Trump look really bad. For a lot of his biggest fans, this gives them something to laugh about. It's like, he's getting them again. And I don't know. How do you guys feel about it? Do you think it's okay for the president to be out there accusing Joe Scarborough of murder? I don't know. It seems a little far. Okay, it seems a lot far. It's a lot far. It's not. I mean, All Lives Matter is trending, and the salt is delicious. I'm going to wrap up here, guys. To anybody cheering that fucking retarded statement I just read, please watch the first part of the show. Thank you so much for coming and hanging out. Thank you so much for your donations. Don't forget, tonight we'll be on my channel, 9 p.m. Eastern time. Everybody, enjoy the rest of your day, and I'll see you next time. Bye, guys.